We're here in the Penthouse Rehearsal Suite with the very talented upcoming band in the Dunfermline music scene, featuring Dane, Gregor and Aaron in their first ever interview. We're here with Idle Minds.
Alright, hey everybody, we're here with Idle Minds.
Yay!
Right, so obviously you've been here for a while, yeah, and you know, I know Gregor, you've been in a lot of bands before as well, before this one.
Too many.
Yeah. And you've went through quite a few name changes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
So,
You say the least.
but I think we've settled on Idle Minds. Is that the one?
That's the one.
that's stuck.
That's the one, right. Okay, so I want to talk a bit about your kind of influences and stuff like that with this kind of band and sound you're kind of going for, kind of thing. So would you like to run us through that?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Like,
Well, some inspiration.
a big chunk of Oasis. I reckon. I mean, my lead guitar is heavily based on sort of Johnny Marr and
Johnny
artists
Marr.
like artists like him. But oddly, sometimes as well, Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, he's a big influence of mine.
Okay.
So all mine are more kind of pop punky style riffs that I would try and integrate, and then
That's kind of
Oasis takes over.
Oasis
Big
stereophonic.
chunk of Oasis.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of Oasis.
That's stereophonic.
Okay.
Here and
Mostly
there.
the same, I guess. There's not really any. I take my own style and try and add a bit of a twist on some of the tunes if we ever play cover music or whatever.
Yeah, so would you know, obviously you drum, but who would you say is your like favourite drummer? or
So
favourite-
I grew up around heavy metal. So
Oh, nice.
the Rev,
the
Rev,
Simple.
he was my god growing up, and I would never ever be able to play like him. But he was my
He was in it.
he was my inspiration.
Oh no, I agree. He's an absolute machine because I still am an Avenged Sevenfold fan.
Yeah, me too.
And
I
like all
listened
through
to
the
them.
teenagers,
Yeah.
I was a big Avenged Sevenfold fan, and it was kind of heartbreaking what happened
Yeah,
to
when
him
he
and stuff
passed
like
away.
that. I think he died way too young
Definitely
personally,
did.
but what a drummer though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And the story of him, how he wrote the Nightmare album the night before he passed away.
Yeah.
He finished it, and then that obviously took his own life, and that's what.
It was tracking
Yeah,
fiction as well. Like,
Yeah.
when you would hear the vocals on it. That's like it's
Yeah.
kind of haunting to
Oh, it does.
It's haunting to hear, and then obviously Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater came in to fill in the shoes for that.
He's done a great job ever since. But the Rev's kind of always been my go-to, and that's till this day. And
Anyway,
always-
we're going on a bit of a tangent, sorry.
No,
yeah, right. But yeah, back to the big chunk of Oasis, a bit of Johnny Marr. We've got the Rev in there. Okay, well, that's quite a mix. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm kind of slapping my nose. I'm going to have red knees by without a doubt. But every musician, every artist, every band has some sort of crazy story, kind of thing. So what would yours be? It could be out with your band or anything you would like, you'd like to share.
Starts with you, doesn't it? So,
But we kind of met. Well,
I know.
you asked me to come play with you
Yeah.
just out of the blue, and I kind of turned up and
I
I just turned up and just played along, and then you kind of thought, well,
think
that's it.
I think mine and Aaron's craziest story is sinking 12 packs of Corona in an old man's loft while recording. So our old lead
Context.
singer, his uncle has like minted recording equipment, and obviously we were skint and can't afford recording.
Aye.
Well, at that time we were. So he basically was like, yeah, you can come record. And we're like, oh, mint. So
So we go to the house, he pulls down this cord, and we're going into the attic, not thinking,
Right.
where are we going?
what's going on?
Climb up, turn the light on, and it's like state of the art.
State of like
Nice.
I'm talking everything.
Everything you could want, need.
Like I'm talking like thousands upon thousands that this 60-year-old man has just spent like thousands of pounds. And we're just sitting up there and then
Mesmerised.
we're like, we want to grab some beer, and we're dead, so we sculled 2 12 packs in this old man's loft, almost fell down the stairs on the way out, and then
tried to
Sun
record.
and then Sun Country on the way home. When we got our lift home, Sun Country all the way home. And then I got to witness him Whitey the next day.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
That'd have been one hell of a hangover.
Oh, I
We went back to record on that day of the hangover, and it
Oh,
was
no.
not great.
No.
Never again.
You're on drums. Like that'd be like.
It was horrible. It was
You know,
horrible.
and then witnessing that on the other end, it's just like, oh Christ. You know.
And then when we tried to go back sober the next time, the turbo in my car exploded, mate. 'Cause I was like,
yeah.
looking at the cruise, my car basically exploded on the A92 on the way here.
Turbo.
Turbo exploded, piston number 4 went to the moon, oil all over my back wheels. It was not a fun experience.
I mean, no,
No, it was not a fun time.
it's not ideal, no. But yeah. So crazy stories, mental stories. You got anything to share?
Me? Nah, not really, to be fair.
No.
I've not really got anything. In terms of band though, like band getting together, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, there's a question. How did you meet?
So initially, the band originally formed way back in 2021.
Okay.
And it was me and our lead singer, and it was basically I had a song that I wrote, and we went up to his caravan in Loch Earn, and we had finished it off, and then I proposed it as a band, and then initially we were a 2-piece band until about 2023, is that when we came in?
Yeah,
We were a 2-piece band until 2023, and then we acquired Aaron from the depths of nowhere. He just spawned, honestly, he did.
Just appeared
I
one
am
day.
here.
He just appeared, and then
They couldn't get rid of me.
and then we spoke to Gregor. Like within the first time I ever met you,
It was in my first band.
his first band,
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah,
Switch.
I was
Yeah.
there at the beginning as well.
and then
Yeah, this was a song.
because they were trying to write, and he was trying to throw like it was like what 13 chords into the space of 30 seconds in the song, and I was like, that's a lot of chord changes you don't need, and a lot of them don't match. And then after like
That, the band, long story short, like, pretty much. Then
and then
I was just sat on my toilet, doing nothing.
he stole them, and then he's
Got
been here
scooped up, and then
been
yeah.
here since.
then it was overlooked.
Oh, then it was overlooked while it was first
Yeah,
made.
aye.
So overlooked, and then
Then
other
Kieran left.
Kieran left. Okay.
And
so
then that's when
we
it became Idle
Became
Minds.
Idle Minds.
then I don't. Okay, right. Okay, I'm keeping up now.
Aye.
Okay, now, see,
What?
every day's a school day.
It's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot in one moment to take.
I know, but anyway, so what this channel is kind of more about is about struggles in, you know, the industry that we're in. So, you know, I'm a local musician as well and singer and stuff. I do, you know, teaching and stuff like that as well and perform sometimes. But, you know, I've just kind of witnessed along the way that, you know, this is hard. You know, this is absolutely,
It's
you know.
not an easy goal.
So, you know, I have to ask, do you do music full time?
Not full time, no.
Not yet.
And another question is, why not? You know,
It's-
just
it's
be as truthful
all-
as you can.
It's all things that cost money. And if you're not getting gigs constantly, you can't make money to fund it.
No.
I was-
Yeah.
It's a very hard industry.
Yeah.
It's like even just when you're starting out trying to be seen is
Yeah.
really hard.
It's not like the 90s.
Aye.
No, yeah.
It's a very hard industry now.
I was close to becoming full time.
Yeah.
I played in a kind of wedding band, cover band,
All right.
and before the COVID pandemic, we were getting bookings left, right, and centre to the point where I couldn't take any more days off work. Paid days to go and play them, I'd have to take unpaid days from work to go and play my gigs.
Yeah.
I got to that point where I was like, I'm gonna hang up my boots, leave my trade and become a full-time musician, but pandemic happened, lockdown, everything cancelled and I never picked back up the way it did. So that kind of destroyed my dream of becoming a full-time musician, but you know, things can change. We're still,
Yeah,
still
still
young,
time.
still
Yes.
time.
So yeah, you were doing more corporate events and stuff like that, like wedding bands.
I
And,
was, yeah, I was.
you know, but yeah, at the same time, you know, that's doing covers at the end of the day as well. And admittedly, you know, a lot of the money, you know, you have to do for the money is cover gigs.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you know, with original music, like what you're doing is more, it's it depends on who turns up, who's listening. You have to do so much, marketing, and like on, I don't like calling it that, but it is what it is, on social media, TikTok, Instagram, you have to kind of be on all of them. And then even then, and this is the next point that we're going to go on, is like streaming services and stuff like that. Like Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, YouTube.
Yeah, just like Deezer for your I've not had that in a long while.
I know, but there's all these streaming services. But I've got one or two statistics here. But I was kind of running the numbers the other night, and got my trusty notebook because I'm old school, but just to keep it right, so I don't forget and have random statistics all over the place. But like in Spotify, so it's like 0.003 pence. Like it averages from 0.003 pence to 0.5 pence per stream, right? And I just kind of researched what it would take to be on like the minimum wage. Like if you were doing this.
Yeah.
So it'd be like 6 million. Well, this is just Spotify, by the way. I'm just doing it as an example, right? But 6 million streams a year. Be on minimum wage. And we can maybe roughly estimate that to about 1,500 to 2,000 a month. But that's split between the three of you.
Yeah.
By the way, and you don't even have tax on that. Just to put in perspective. But that's
That's a lot.
It's
That's a lot of streams, but you also need to have the material to do to come up with those numbers as well, and the fan base.
I mean, the skill set you have to have. You have to be a musician first of all. You have to be a videographer now.
PR.
A sound engineer, PR. All that skill set. A lot of it is rehearsal. Sometimes rehearsal is unpaid and stuff like that. Maybe you get to a place and then you play it and then they don't pay you. And then you have to chase it up.
Yeah.
It just begins to get an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know. Let's hear your take on it. Like, what do you think is wrong in the music industry? Like, I'm not going to chime in again, but just have your take on it.
It's like
Trying to get gigs.
Trying to get gigs is really
Trying
hard.
to build a fan base as well. That's because back in for example back in the 90s, you could go to like Pink Tuts in Glasgow, like where Oasis started out. You would go there, you would play. There'd be, if you were lucky, there'd be someone that works for a record label, and if they liked it, they'd sign you. And that builds you up already.
Yeah.
But nowadays, trying to find all that stuff, it's just
Trying to get a gig in a decent venue is nails because they're like, oh, you need a bigger fan base, but then you can't get gigs in places to get a bigger fan base.
Yeah, and this is if just coming back to the venues as well, because obviously during COVID time, they kind of went under a bit.
A lot of places started to close.
Yeah.
So because venues, licensed premises, venues go hand in hand with musicians, really.
Yeah.
Oh,
They work
absolutely.
hand in hand. We bring customers in for shows and stuff like that. Maybe that old school way of going to King Cuts and stuff like that, putting like posters everywhere and stuff like that. And you could do a mix between that and like having an online presence. But having an online presence seems to be like a necessary evil because you have to have an online presence.
So I always noticed it as well, you look at a lot of like the bands that you see trending on TikTok, and 99% of the posts aren't even music related anymore. It's all just like memes and stuff like that, like
The music side faded.
the music side's faded. It's always like, oh, like guess who our drummer is, and like, oh, POV, you're the bassist, and it's the bassist on the floor bench pressing his bass going, who are you? The bassist, what do you do? Learn my notes. It's like, it's more of the accounts are memes than it is actually music now. But that gets them famous.
But that brings attention because if I'm scrolling through, I'm just like, what the hell is this? But it's grabbed my attention though. It's like these 30-second clips, those micro content, has captured your attention now, and then you're like, Okay, they're kind of funny. What about their other page? You know,
Yeah.
or you might just think, oh, that's funny. Click. Oh.
Yeah.
You know.
People's attention span is just so minimal, and they just want a laugh, a 20-second laugh, or they're in to sit and listen to a band playing music that they might not like.
Yeah, yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And you know, we're winding back to like, you know, like the 90s and stuff like that, like King Tut's, maybe a record label sees you. And now, you know, like nowadays, record labels require you to have like a following,
Yeah.
you know, do all your, you know, your marketing yourself and stuff like that.
They don't put faith in you.
Yeah, yeah, you have to kind of do a lot of the work, you know. And I don't know, you can disagree with me here as well if you want. Do you think we're back to where we were in like the 80s or 90s where, you know, how do I word this? Where the record labels have soaked up a lot of this money as well, and they hold a lot of power.
Yeah.
You know, back then they did all the work.
Yeah.
But now they're kind of keeping the money where, you know, you have to do the work now, and then maybe they'll give you some money.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would 100% agree with that.
Okay. But you know, there's a great guy called Damien Keys as well. Like, I looked him up as well. He's kind of more on the music business side. But he was promoting, you know, 1 cent per play. But he's in America. He's an English guy in America. But you know, he was promoting this 1 cent per play. You know, instead of 0.003 of a pence or a cent. You know, and just to be devil's advocate, why not? Right? Would it be sustainable for Spotify to, you know, put up to 1 cent, or do you think there should be an increase but not that kind of amount?
I think even up to like 1 cent, 1p would definitely help, because if you're 0.03 of a pence, that's nothing.
But then you've also got to think about Spotify make money from their ads as well.
Spotify need to make money, and at the same time, if you've got 6 million people making music, or however many people make music to put on Spotify, and they're getting a pence per stream, it adds up for everybody.
But we're getting people, we're getting artists that have, 6 million. Let's just say let's just put the example here: 6 million a year, right? But they can't fill up their car, or they can't pay their rent, Should it be like minimum wage for musicians, like at a local level, or should it just be like, the Wild Wild West where we're all against each other and one Sorry for the analogy, but but sometimes it can be a very cutthroat industry. Sometimes and you get all these toxic ego people, and I hate that mentality as well. Like, you can really. I really hate it, but it can cause some characters, of course, but I just hate the whole unnecessary toxicity or whatever you want to call it, but it's bad attitude. It's total crap. I'm trying not to use more colourful language, but I'm sure you can imagine. Right? But yeah, anything else you'd like to add?
We covered a lot on that topic, to be fair. I think everything I would have said has been said.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously we've got our socials as well.
Socials. Yeah, no, I was going to mention that. But any plans for new music or anything like that? Are you in recording or anything?
We are recording just now,
We'd get that finished actually.
We have a single coming out soon.
What's it?
We have a single coming out soon.
Coming out soon. So yeah,
hopefully within the new year, reasonably soon, we'll have a single out.
Okay. So new music coming in the new year at some point.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that point. There we go.
Come to our headliner and hear all our new tunes that we wrote.
I like the semi-dab. Whoa. Right. Okay. Actually, no. Keep up that energy. That's quite good. What was it? So, yeah. Any gigs? Any gigs coming up?
19th of December, Monarch Bar,
Doors
7:30.
open at 7:30, £5 a ticket.
Right, so 19th of December?
19th of December.
19th of December. How much a ticket?
£5.
£5 a ticket.
£5 a ticket.
The Monarch in Dunfermline.
Yeah.
Debatably the most reasonably priced band in Dunfermline.
reasonably priced band.
It's a reasonable price car.
Yeah, I know. You're the Kia C apostrophe D with the stick.
Tonight on I Don't Mind, Aaron hits a drum, Gregor stands about, and Dane forgets the lyrics.
Involve Jessica.
On that bombshell.
So yeah, 19th December, Monarch, £5 a ticket,
Doors open at 7:30
7:30.
at night.
Be there. No, the
Or be
morning.
square.
No, the morning. Night. Just to be clear. Anyway, so yeah, what was it? So that's the end, right? If you would like to see more of Idle Minds or listen to more of Idle Minds, look at their description below. You'll see all the links to their socials in there. If you could subscribe to the channel, click that bell for any notifications, and we'll see you next time. So that's all from us. So, right,
Cheers.
bye.
Cheers.
Bye.